Hey there guys, welcome back to the modern JavaScript Crash course. In this video we're carrying on taking a look at JavaScript built-in objects, and in this video we'll take a look at the math object and some of its methods and properties. As always guys, if you're new here and like the content, don't forget to like and subscribe and make sure you turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Alright guys, so in JavaScript the math object is a built-in static object that allows you to perform mathematical operations on numbers, so it takes its capabilities higher than just basic maths like adding or subtracting. Now unlike other built-in objects, the math object is not a constructor, meaning that we don't need to create its object to use its properties or methods as they are static, and we can simply call upon them by using the math as an object without creating it. So suppose we want to get the value of pi for a geometric calculation or the square root of a number in our program. We can easily do this with a math object. So let's first take a look at pi, which is a property of the math object. So let's say let pi equals math, so we're calling upon the object here, dot pi, which as you can see here it says property. So enter pi, close that off, and then let's just log this into the console. So we'll log in pi. And as you can see here, the output is the value of pi. And again, let's say we wanted to get the square root of a number. We're going to need to use the square root method. So let's just create another variable underneath this. Let's say let sqrt, so square root. We're going to equal this, and then grab the math object, dot, grab the square root method, which again is square rt. And as it's a method, we need to use parentheses to close this off. And then just add a semicolon here to close it off completely. And then let's just put a 9 inside of here and then log this into the console. So log in square rt, and you can see we're getting the value of 3, which is the square root of 9. So that's how we can get pi, which again is a property of the math object, and also how we can get the square root of a number using the square root method. But suppose you want to find the minimum or the maximum numeric value from a list of numbers, we can easily do that using the math object. So let's just go underneath the square root example. So let's create another variable here and call it let, and we'll start with min. So we'll equal this to the math object, and we'll say dot min, and we'll just create a list inside of the parentheses here because it's a method, and we'll say let's say 10, 20, 30, 40, and let's say 50, and then let's just log in min. So we'll say console log min, and you can see we're getting the output of 10 because 10 is the lowest number in this list here, and of course this is the minimum number we're trying to find. And then again we've also got a maximum number, so we'll change this to max, and we can say dot max instead of min, and then let's log in max to the console. And as you can see, we're getting the output of 50 because this is the highest number, and of course this is our maximum number. Now what we can also do is round numbers either up or down with the round method. So what we're going to do is just create another variable. We'll call this round. Set this to the math object dot, and then grab the round method here. Close this off, and then let's just put in here, let's say 2.6, and then log this into the console. So log in round. And it gives us the value of 3 because 2.6 rounds up to 3, and it also rounds down. So if we do 2.3, you see it'll give us the value of 2 because this rounds down to 2. Now there will be times where we actually want to specify which way we want our numbers to round to, and we can do that with the floor and ceil methods. So let's just say we want to always make sure things round up. We can use the ceil. So for this example, let's say we want this 2.3 to round up to 3 instead of rounding down. We can do that with ceil. So we'll put in here ceil method. You can see it rounds it up to 3. And then if we want to specify that we want something to always round down, we can use the floor method. So let's just say 2.7 here, and then let's change the value to the floor method. And as you can see, even though this should usually round up to 3, we're specifying that we want this to round down with the floor method. Now the last method we're going to take a look at, which is a very handy method, is the random method. So what I'm going to do is just get rid of all of these variables here, grab the let keyword, and let's just name this random. Set this to a math object and grab the random method, close this off with parentheses, and as you can probably guess what this does, it just generates a random number for us. So if I log this into the console here, log it in random, you'll see we'll get a random number now, and if I save and refresh, we'll just constantly keep getting a random number. Now, you most likely won't want a number with this many decimals. You'd likely want a number on a much smaller scale. And the way we can create a smaller number here is using the toFix method we learned in the number object video. So we'll go after the random inside the console log here and grab the toFix method, close this off parentheses, and let's just put in here a value of 1. So as you can see here, it's just going to give us the number of digits after the decimal point, which we're saying is just 1. So it's just giving us a 0.9. And then if I keep refreshing this, you'll see it'll just give us a value between 0.0 and 0.9. So I'll just keep refreshing it here. And as you can see, it's just going to be a random number. Now, if we want to make this a whole number, all we need to do is just say times 10. And as you can see now, it's giving us a full number here, so no decimals. And what will happen now is if I save and refresh this, we'll just get a number between 0 and 10. So if I keep saving and refreshing, you can see we're just getting a random number each time. So that is the random method for the math object. Now there are more methods and properties to the math object, which I will leave a link to in the description below. But to summarize this video, the math object provides properties and methods for us to manage and manipulate mathematical operations. If we want to identify the smallest or the largest number in a list of numbers, we can use the min and max method. Or as we've just seen, if we want to generate random numbers, we could do that with the random method. Or we can round numbers up or down using floor and ceil. So there are many different cool methods and properties we can use to our advantage with the math object. But that's going to be it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed the content, please hit the like button and please consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys in the next video.